All right, we're back. Eric Marc, Standing in Place, episode, not quite sure. It is August 11th, 2020. And today I'm going to share my opinion of a very important subject. Very important subject affects many different parts of the country. I know that one of our presidential candidates just announced his vice president mate, running mate, partner. But this is Standing in Place, and we're trying to distract from all the stuff that's going on. So that's fine. But what I want to talk about is fishing and how it's complete bullshit. My father was big into fishing, and I ate a lot of fish, and I still eat a lot of fish. And fish are tremendous to eat. But I tried to fish. So that I tried to fish this weekend. It's not something that I have experience doing. So that was kind of a new thing. I took a rod that I had. It was one of my father's rods. And spent the weekend at this lake. And apparently the thing to do at this lake was to fish. So I decided to participate and be an outdoors person, and fish. And I'd just like to say it's complete bullshit. The whole concept is flawed. You can't even compare it to like hunting. You can view the animal, and then you attempt to obtain that animal in some way. Fishing, you're just tying shit to the end of a line, casting it into an abyss where you can't see what's in there, and expecting that something delicious is going to bite onto it and allow you to reel it in. There's problems with this. Like fly fishing, I don't know if it really works this way, but I messed around with the Tenkara rod a little bit. I realized you're like making a fly move around on the surface of the water. You can see it. You have an opinion on how it's going. You can potentially see the fish. You could potentially see the fish bite the fly and get it. This like cast nonsense out into water and just reel it. It doesn't make any sense. That's like the worst gambling I've ever experienced. You don't get to see the cards. You can't see like the spinny wheel thing. No, you're just like reel it in. You don't know how fast, how slow. I mean, I guess that's where like the skill. Somebody who's skilled can do this differently than I. But you're trying to entice an animal to bite onto some plastic like fish mannequin with crap hanging off of it, with hooks hanging off of it. You think that's something that's going to be effective, and that you have like a reasonable amount of control over that situation. Or maybe you accept that you don't. Maybe that's part of what I missed about being a fisherman, is that you have no control. You can't communicate with the fish. You can't see what they're eating unless maybe you have a fish. So you're buying this like produced plastic or metal item. I had these like little metal things. I think they're called spoons. They're like bent a little funny, and they flicker if the sun hits them correctly. And that little metal thing being dragged on a miniature rope through underwater is supposed to entice an animal to go, I'm going to go bite metal. No. And what you're supposed to feel, this thing is dragging across the bottom of this lake, getting caught on grass and moss and whatever. Keeps making me feel like I caught something, but I didn't, because I don't know how to freaking fish. It's a bizarre method to try and obtain food. I really don't understand it. There was a guy that saw the lure that I had, and he made the comment, well, that's not a good lure. Fish are way too smart for that. I call bullshit on that too. There's no smart fish. Where are the fish that are doing the smart things? Like, we as humans have invented submarines so that we can enter fish environment and explore it. I've never seen a fish that invented a land marine. There's no fish driving up the beach inside a water-filled vessel, or for that matter, flopping up on the beach with like the equivalent of a scuba helmet, except filled with water, because that's what they breathe, like we wear a scuba helmet filled with air, and flopping their way across our land in order to explore and harvest our resources, in order to bring them back and power their civilization and their industrial network with the resources that we have in our world. That's not happening. If they were smart fish, that's what they would do. Smart people have gone into their environment and harvested oil and all sorts of other crap. In fact, we harvest the fish. The fish are not harvesting us. If the fish are so smart, how come they're not humaning? We're fishing, they're not humaning. There's no smart fish. And to tell me that a fish, I mean, because this guy told me some other freaking thing that I'm supposed to use. So the piece of plastic with the hooks, with the paint, and the little plastic like lip ring thing that makes it swim with its butt up in the air like a hound dog presenting. The one that I have isn't going to be the right one, but the slightly different one that has like a little bit different color in the eye and one less stripe, and the little spoon thing's a little different shaped, is going to work, because the smart fish won't be tricked by the piece of plastic I have, but they'll be tricked by the piece of plastic you're telling me I should have. Now, I don't believe you. And I don't believe you understand the relationship that we have with fish, because you talk about it like they know what's going on. Fish don't know that people are fishing. There's no way that fish understand that there's a bunch of bipeds, oxygen-breathing bipeds, running around on the land that they can't see, spending thousands of dollars on gear, on fishing rods made of graphite and carbon, different materials, with fancy clear line, invisible rope, and then fake fish mannequins tied to the end of them so that we can try and harvest these guys. They don't know that's happening. No freaking way. There's no way. I don't know what a fish thinks, but I promise a fish doesn't know that that's going on. They're not thinking about us. Not the way we think about them, and like, what is it called? Anthropomorphize what their thought process is. And they're like, oh, that's one of those bipeds, and I can see that they bought the wrong lure, so I'm not going to bite that shit. Oh, but there's the right one. And now they're up on land, suffocating in air, and becoming dinner. Hopefully they're becoming dinner. That throwback crap is nonsense. I don't get that. We've talked about that before. But there's no way, and we like to make that relationship like that's something that's occurring, that they know what we're up to. No way. There's no way. So I tried. I casted from the equivalent of a beach in this landlocked state. And I could see fish jumping out of the freaking water right where I was throwing the line, and they were not biting my metal spoon. So I got irritated, and now I'm on a mission. I'm going to catch this freaking fish. So the next day, I took a paddleboard and paddled to the end of this reservoir. Like, I don't even know how long it took. I think it took me like 2 hours or something to paddle to the end of this thing. Maybe not that long. I was like fighting the wind. Like, if you ever paddleboard, it was enough wind that if I stood up, I could not continue moving forward. So I had to kneel down and like paddle that way. And then when my knees got sore, I'd stand up and paddle that way. And then I'd get windy and I'd kneel back down and I'd paddle that way, because Eric is going to go catch a damn fish. I want to get meat to feed my family. And I could see the damn things. I'm cruising over them, and I'm like surprising them. I think they were carp or something. They're big, and they would move, and they'd actually surprise me. They'd make waves that would shake the paddleboard. This is not a Moby Dick fake story. That's for real. That was what was happening. I found out later that I guess carp isn't very delicious, so maybe it's better that I didn't get any of these things. But they'd move, and I could see them. And I couldn't catch these damn things. I spent 5 hours trying to catch fish. I was approaching the length of time I spend in a work day at my job. Just completely freaking zoned out, casting nonsense metal into the abyss, hoping that one of these things that I see flop around every now and then is going to bite on so I could eat it. I got obsessed. I got to realize what that is, why people fish, I guess, because time just freaking warped away. It was gone. And I'm going to catch one of these things. I had casts. I don't know how to tie the knots right. I had casts where the freaking lure flew off. It was just gone. So then I'd put a different one on and tie it another horrible knot and hope that that's going to make a difference. I don't think the fish cares what knot is in the string as long as they're tricked into biting the plastic fake fish with the odd piercings with the hooks hanging from its abdomen. You see what I'm saying? This is problematic. Eventually I gave up. I completely gave up on this cast blind. I'm going to take this on in a manner that I have control, that I can see what's going on. I paddled to the edge of the lake, and I found a stick, and I sharpened the frickin' stick. And mind you, I was cruising around on an inflatable paddleboard with a sharpened stick in my hand, just looking for the fish. And then I would try to stab fish with a sharpened stick. That's how poorly I was fishing with a fishing line, the proper equipment. Probably not the proper equipment, but equipment that looks like fishing equipment. I gave up and went to a sharpened stick. And I still failed. We ate beef for dinner because Eric could not harvest fish from a lake that he could see because I don't know how to fish. So in summation, fishing is bullshit. I'm probably going to try again. I'm probably going to so I actually looked up carp, I guess, is supposed to eat worms or grubs. I definitely didn't have a worm or grub attachment for my fishing line. I had metal shiny things and plastic fake fish with lip inserts. So maybe we'll try that again with at least closer to what fishing people say I'm supposed to use. And if I get a fish, and if I eat it, I might feel differently about this. But for now, fishing is bullshit. Happy August 11th. That's been our time. So I will let you go. I hope you all are staying healthy. I hope you're staying busy. I hope you're getting outside, getting some sun on that body. That you're not getting sick. I hope your families are all right. And we'll see you in a week. All right. Take care.